computer. Hello, Jane.
Hello.
Thank you. It's lovely to see you. I got to know Jane on the new members program a couple of years ago when I was facilitating it, and Jane should have been hallowed last summer, but is hoping to be hallowed fully and properly at Community Week in October, which will be a wonderful time, I'm sure. Now, I've asked Jane if she'd talk to us about how she's found accounting for her. Obviously, coming at it, is quite new to her. Her situation, she's still got quite dependent children. I should imagine they're still quite dependent financially on you, and your husband, although he's very supportive of your community membership, isn't a member, and whether that impacts. But really, it's the issues in your life and how it's affected you. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you. I think when I thought about accounting, I was quite nervous about it. And I think also it might have stopped me becoming a member for a while, or would I be able to do it properly, and what would it involve? And I was aware of the sort of deep level of the commitment of it. And so in the new members program, I think I was sort of scrabbling around a little bit to think about the practicalities of it, like how do you do it? What sort of impact will it have on our lives for me as a family? And so I found the support of the new members program really, really helpful. You, Jill, talked to me about it. I remember being quite nervous, and I talked to Christian about it as well. And so I've only accounted with my family group once, because I did that in the first year, and then we had COVID, and everything seemed to go a little bit crazy, and we weren't in a proper rhythm. So for last year, certainly in accounting for my money, the figures just were the same as for the year before, because really financially nothing had changed for me. So I just put the same figures for the year that's gone as the year before. But it is a challenge to think. I mean, it's obviously money and time, but in our family group, we separate them out, and we do money in one session, and then we have more general and vaguer conversations, I think, about time, mainly at the moment about looking after ourselves. So rather than whipping each other to be doing more, it's almost a suggestion that we might do less, and how can we have a really good healthy balance. And I think the whole thing about the accounting is about balance, and about mindfulness of what we have and the blessings that we have, and then of a fair distribution of ourselves and our material resources in the world, including the Iona community. So the way that Christian suggested that I did it practically, I don't know if it's helpful to hear about the practical side. That's certainly what I was
certainly, yeah.
Was to take from my income what you would not pay tax on. So discount, I think she said that in the members group, new members group that we're in, discount, I think it was 11,000 at the time, but maybe 12,000 as it is now. And then look at what money you have after that. So the assumption being that that lump that you wouldn't be taxed on is what you actually need to survive, that without that much money, you wouldn't be able to survive. And anything over and above that is sort of gift and blessing. And then with that, you look at your giving. And so then with that income that's after the bare essentials, we're called to give away 10%. And that 10% is divided. And this is where it was a challenge for a lot of us who are new members, because many of us were already doing that to some extent. So if we were going to give a substantial lump to the Iona community, did that mean that we had to stop giving money to other charities that we were already committed to? So that was quite a really interesting discussion that we had in our group. What did that look like if we were making our commitment to the Iona community and to the family group, but then also wanted to keep up our other commitments in the world? So that was a really sort of helpful discussion. And we did it in small groups the first time round. Well, the only time round that I've done it, and we're due to do it again in April. And I think we've decided this time we're going to do it in pairs, and we'll still be on Zoom. So we'll account with each other for our money in pairs, and then that influences particularly what we give centrally to the Iona community, and then also to the family group. So that was not as scary an experience as I thought it might be. And I think it's a really, really good discipline. And I think last year, just saying it was all the same, although it was essential because of everything else that was going on, I'm really pleased to be doing it again this year.
Mhm.
And the first time I did it without Bob's income. So we split my stipend as a parish priest and Bob's pension. And so we only counted my stipend, and we were renting out our house where we lived before I was ordained, and we just split the income from that. So I was looking at sort of effectively half of our joint income, which made it more complicated, but I hadn't got my head around it enough to work out how we could do it together. This year, we're going to do it together because Bob's an associate, and so he's trying to live the same way anyway. So this time we're going to try and look at our income together and then review our giving just across the board together as a couple. So that feels that's better actually now, but it didn't feel possible at the beginning. It's sort of a gradual thing. Bob's got a bit more involved with the community. He's on one of the committees now as well, and it just, yeah, so that feels right this time. And it's just about time now. We've got to find the time and the space to do it. And I think we've always tried to do this. We've always tried to look at our giving, and I think the discipline that the Iona community will give us is that annual review, because it's really easy for time to slip by and you think you reviewed it and then you look and it's been 5 years. So I think that's really, really helpful, and it's something that feels absolutely right, that I really want to do, and I want to try and do it well. But it did help me awful lot when Christian suggested that way of working out what our essentials might be. And we do have boys at university, so the two younger ones are still completely dependent on us. So that obviously that's an expenditure, but the way we've done it means that we're not just sitting in a group going, oh, well, I need to give this much to my child or that much, because the way we've done it feels very absolutely fine that we're not having to argue tiny details, that it's a much broader and more wholesome approach, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting, because actually Simon and I do it differently and try and look at our expenditure in quite a detailed way, rather than just looking at the tax. Has it affected you in terms of what you do? Obviously you give your 10% or whatever of your disposable income to charity. Has it impacted on what you do with the money that you're not giving away to charity, if you see what I mean? Has it impacted at all on that, or made you think twice or about something? Or
I think so. I mean, I would like to take it to a deeper level, and I think Bob and I this time will look at our expenditure as well. So I think we're really going to try and sit down and really try to work out, how do we spend our money, and is that how we want to spend it? Is that healthy and a good way to spend it? So I think we're quite keen to do that. I think it's difficult to know whether the Iona community bits made me think about it more, because I think we were doing it quite a lot anyway before. So
yeah.
It sort of felt quite natural. And I would like, as I say, it's helpful to have that, this is the sort of allowance. But I think equally, once I'm more experienced in it and once sort of gone deeper into it, I think I would like to explore looking more at our expenditure as well. I think we've been quite sort of guided by the family group you're in to some extent, and that's how we did it that one time. There's 4 new members in our family group, and we were all on the same week where we had that discussion with Christian suggesting you could take away the tax bit, and that's quite a clear way to do it. So I think we've all started doing it that way. I think I think later it might be good to sort of do it differently as well, and to look at what we spend on. I mean, for Bob and myself, we sort of know, that with the boys, and with Thomas is still at home at the moment, so he's
Well,
not even, we've not even got him as far as leaving home yet.
No, that's brilliant, Jane. I think that helps a lot. I know that, you know, we talked when you were on the new members program about things like, well, can I still go on holiday, and, you know, things like that. But obviously, you know, it's clear that within your, you know, disposable income, you know, there are decisions to be made, aren't there? But you can, you know, work them through.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And it is that whole thing, isn't it, about I mean, I think that was my real worry at the beginning, you know, would we ever be able to go on holiday again? Because actually we're so privileged compared to the rest of the world that, you know, a foreign holiday feels a real extravagance and luxury. But it was quite reassuring to talk to other members who obviously do also have foreign holiday. I mean, not that anyone is at the moment, but it felt that it was less draconian and more something that you grow into, so that you know what's a good use of money and what's not.
yeah.
And yeah, that it becomes part of the way you live. I'm lucky that Bob is really not materialistic in the least, you know, and so there's no conflict. It's not as if he's trying to buy a big fast car, and I know that's not a good use of money. You know, so I think that really helps. I think it would be hard if you were living with someone who didn't share that value.
Yes, yeah. No, that's brilliant, Jane. I think that's helped a lot to hear your views. So I'm going to switch the recording off now. Okay.
Okay. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.